Today we're going to be talking about the new BT11 deck profile for Blue Flare. Blue Flare's got some more support along with X-Cross. It's a very strong deck if you're looking to stun your opponent. It has tremendous draw power and searchability. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Starting with our level 2s, we're going to go ahead and run a 4 of Digimon. Digimon is the new BT11 card with a when attacking once per turn. If you have a tamer in play, draw one card. This card is very good considering how we're going to be playing our Kira a whole lot or as fast as possible. Being able to have that draw because of our tamer is very, very strong, despite if your opponent is trying to play around the Upamon, which they might expect, because that's our other level 2 egg that we're going to be running is Upamon from BT1. It has a when attacking once per turn. If your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards in play, you can trigger draw 1. These are both very good for drawing. Moving on to the level 3 category, we're going to be running 4 of the Gaussmon from BT10. This card should be an obvious one if you're familiar with Blue Flare, but what it does is it has an on deletion effect of you may play one level 4 card with Blue Flare and its traits from your hand suspended without paying its play cost. If it's a Greymon, you get to search. If it's Digimon, you get to draw. If it's male Birdramon, you can play Akira for free, potentially with this Gaussmon combo. But Gaussmon being at a playset, it is a Blue Flare card, so we need it for that reason. Next, we're going to be running a new playset of the Dracomon from BT11. This serves as a Blue Flare card as well in its traits, and it has some inheritables and effects. When you play another Digimon with Dramon in its name or Blue Flare in its traits, you get to draw one card. It's also a good idea to evolve off of this Dracomon as well, because of the inheritable saying your turn once per turn. When you play another Digimon with Dramon in its name or Blue Flare in its traits, which in this case it is, we get to gain one memory. So being able to play a level 4 for a cheaper play cost or just playing it for free and gaining a memory at the same time is very good synergy, which is why Dracomon is a playset here right now. And then our last level 3 lineup, we're actually going to be running a playset of the Jamming Vmons. The reason why we're running a Jamming Vmon is because we want that Digimon draw or that Upamon draw in the egg area to get to our draws faster, but we also want to make sure our Digimon doesn't die in security. So being able to have just that effect of jamming to become aggro and poke at your opponent, all while them having to deal with a Digimon on their next turn, is very, very important, which is why Vmon is still around these days. Moving on to the level 4 lineup, we're going to be running a playset of the Greymon. This should be no surprise. He is going to be the only Greymon in this deck right now. He has an on-play effect of reveal top 4 and add up to 2 cards with Blue Flare and its traits among them to your hand and place the rest at the bottom. This card is amazing for searchability because it can grab another Digimon with Blue Flare, it can grab a Tamer, or it can grab a Blazing Memory Boost. Next, we're going to be running a playset of the Digimon. Digimon has a really nice on-play effect. You get to draw one, and then for each Digimon your opponent has in play, you get to draw one for that. A lot of times I find myself drawing 2 to 3 times with Digimon. Digimon is really good because it also can save and it has an inheritable all turns while your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play. This Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. Very strong inheritable, very strong on play effect, and it can combo, like I said, with the Gaussmon. Moving on into the next level 4, Male Birdramon. There's only this Male Birdramon in the entire Digimon card game, and it is a requirement card for your Metal Greymon, so you need to see this card as much as possible. What's really crazy about Male Birdramon as well, it has an on-play effect of if you have a Kira in play, you can return a Metal Greymon from your trash to your hand. Most of the time you're doing this effect, which says if you don't have a Kira in play, you can play one without paying its memory cost. Being a level 4 for a play cost of 5 and being able to play a 4 play cost Tamer is insanely good. And then if it does on delete die, it can tuck underneath that Tamer that you just played, which is amazing. Male Birdramon is so good for the reason that it also has the best inheritable in the entire deck, which basically says if this Digimon has Blue Flare in its traits and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, one of your Digimon can attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn, which is a very nice tech card. It makes your opponent think twice about playing into the Blue Flare style / approach. and sometimes players can't resist, but they end up having to do it anyways, which Blue Flare loves to take advantage of if you're spreading board, if you're getting some Digimon on the field. Moving on to the level 5 lineup, we're going to be covering 4 of the Metal Greymons from BT10. This card is your best level 5 card in the entire deck for the reason that it can play for a cost of 3 if you have Greymon and Male Bergermon as Digicross requirements, making it an on-play rush card and being able to stun up to 3 of your opponent's Digimon with 2 sources or less. Sometimes you get into situations where you only have a Greymon or you only have a Male Bergermon, so you make it a 5 play cost and you can only stun an opponent's Digimon with 1 source or less, which is not ideal, but sometimes that happens. Next, moving on to the level 5s, we're going to be running 3 Decker Greymons. This one is very good because it has Armor Purge and on play when Digivolving effect as well. You may place 1 Digimon card with Blue Flare and its traits from your hand or from under one of your tamers under this Digimon as a bottom Digivolution card. Then if Decker Dramon is in this Digivolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon can't attack or block until the end of their turn. So there's another stun tactic. Lastly, for our level 5 lineup, we're going to be running 2 of the Metal Greymon plus Cyber Launcher. It's very needed for the reason that there's not a lot of removal effects in this build. So being able to bottom deck a level 3 or a level 4 is very strong, because what you're going to notice is when you play Blue Flare Digicross decks in general, people are going to be playing the play cost blockers. Metal Greymon plus Cyber Launcher really kind of answers that problem, where you just, instead of returning it to hand, you're bottom decking it so they don't see that card until it's too late. Moving on to the level 6 lineup, we're going to be running 2 of the Zig Greymon. This is the new level 6 for Blue Flare. Zig Greymon is really awesome for the reason that it can Digivolve 2 off of Metal Greymon, and what's great about that is on Digivolve it can unsuspend. Then, if a card with Blue Flare or X-Cross is in this traits and your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, you get to gain 2 memory. So what you can essentially do is Evo into Zig Greymon off your Metal Greymon for 2, gaining 2 memory back, making it essentially a free Evo, and being able to unsuspend and swing again in case you need to do that as well. It has a non-deletion save mechanic which can go underneath your tamer, and then you can place Greymon and Male Bergermon from your trash under one of your tamers with General in its traits. In this case, General in its traits is going to be Kira. What's great about being able to save with the Z Greymon is when you play cards that allow you to grab Blue Flare cards from underneath your sources, you can essentially make your Metal Greymon or your Decker Greymon a blocker. That's what's really good about this. Decker Greymon can play a blue source. You can put this card underneath your Decker Greymon and make it a blocker in case you need to do that, maybe mid to late game. And that is the beauty of Zeke Greymon, being able to swing, unsuspend with Metal Greymon, then swing again with Metal Greymon, then Evo for 2, unsuspend, then gain 2 memory back, being able to swing with Zeke Greymon, and then moving on to the level 7 lineup, going into the Omnimon Blitz for game, making it an extra swing, which we just absolutely love. Another level 7 we're actually running in this deck is a 1 Death Xmon. Death Xmon is still very good in case you need to get out of those scrambles, in case what you're doing with the stunning isn't quite working all the way. Death Xmon can really solve some problems. Also, there's going to be a lot of tamers being played in today's meta, so having Death Xmon is a really good insurance card and protector card, and making your opponent have to deal with Death Xmon instead of maybe your other Blue Flare cards that you have on the field. Moving on to the tamers, we're going to be running 4 of the Kira for the reason that Kira is amazing. You want 4 because you can play Kira through the Male Bergermon for free. You can play Kira from the Blazing Memory boost for free. So being able to maximize the opportunities to see Kira in your deck is what makes it very, very good. It's a memory setter, which is even better. And then you can use this card as material save pieces. When you Digicross, you can suspend this Kira to use those Digimon cards underneath this tamer as Digicross requirements. Next, we're running 2 Sora and Joe. The reason why we're running 2 Sora and Joe is because we want to start stripping sources off your opponent's Digimon early. You can also work well with the Metal Greymon, ensuring that Metal Greymon is able to stun that opponent's Digimon next turn. It's a very good combo with Kira if you have both in play, because you can memory set to 3 with Kira, and then you can gain 2 memory if your opponent has a Digimon with no sources, which happens a lot. Starting off at 5 memory is very, very good. Moving on to the option cards here, not too much going on here, but we're going to be talking about the 4 Blazing Memory Boost. Blazing Memory Boost is the best searching card of all of Digimon right now, in my opinion. Being able to reveal top 6 cards of your deck and taking 2 cards with Blue Flare in their traits among them to your hand, and then being able to play Akira for free is some of the most craziness I've ever read on a card for Digimon as of today. So having a 4 of Blazing Boost is also really nice, because if it gets hit in security, it goes straight to the field and you can use it as a gain 2 piece to keep your turn alive and to make some more combos happen with your Blue Flare. Another good card we're going to be talking about is the one of Ice Wall. Ice Wall is just almost like a mandatory blue card for your deck profile. Last 2 cards we're going to be talking about are Plasma Decradra Launcher. Plasma Decradra Launcher is very good because a lot of times you notice in Blue Flare you struggle with your opponent's level 6s or 7s. So having an answer with this card here specifically will really help the deck survive and gain control in case it falls behind. So Plasma Decradra Launcher is a great card for that. That's the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the new Blue Flare update. It's got a little bit of the main BT10 core stuff with some little extra splash to it. If there's anything you'd like to add in the comment section below, definitely let us know what you think about Blue Flare and how you think it can either be better or experimented differently. Thank you guys for watching the video. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we are going to continue the BT11 deck profile journey as we move forward. Take care.